So a very warm welcome from Hannover to our last session from the CMM, Connected Mobile and Machines. And in our session, a warm welcome to Mr. Kuk. He is in our session here directly in the studio, and also to Mr. Juchem. He is on video presentation, and in this day we would like to talk about together with about connectivity solutions from components to system solutions. And the first speak is from Mr. Kuk. Mr. Kuk is from Siemens, and he has 40 years of experience about all what telecommunication, 5G and whatever. And warm welcome to you, and I'm so happy to see a speaker in the session here directly in live, and come on and take your slides.
Yeah, I will do it. Also, welcome from my side. Christina, you are moving too fast.
Oh, sorry,
because
sorry.
We are talking about the heart of industrial IoT. Here's my heart.
Thank you very much.
Wear it with me.
Thank you.
So, the heart of industrial IoT, what does it mean for us? I think we know it very well. Communication is a key element for the industrial automation, but also for industrial IoT. Without communication, it will not work, and therefore digital connectivity is very, very important. And I will present you some little things, and it will also include a little bit of 5G, the next technology move what we have in industrial automation. So when we look at industrial IoT, and when we look a little bit back in the past we have the pyramid, the automation pyramid with different layers. We have the field level, we have control, we have the operator management enterprise, but in the future we will talk about different layers. We will talk about things, smart things, we will talk about connectivity, very, very important connectivity. And of course we will talk about platforms what we have today with cloud. And of course applications, the applications where the customer generate also their benefits and also their income. And of course, new business modules. That is also something important what we will have with industrial IoT. And I will show you some examples. So here you see it a little bit more in detail. What does it mean? In the things could be AGVs, could be little robots, could be also some temperature sensors or things like that. And then the connectivity part. Today, very famous to have wireless communication, but it could also be with wired. Because in the past we had very strong footprint with wired technology. But if you have use cases where wired are not so perfect, then it's the best thing to go on wireless technologies. And we have different wireless technologies. In this CMM, we heard a lot of different technologies, LoRa, ultra-wideband, wireless LAN, or industrial wireless LAN, 5G, industrial 5G. And I think that is an important topic, and also the platforms. And when you look on platforms, that means cloud-based platform. And cloud does not mean that we have them in some areas. It could be also mean to have a cloud platform on-premise, on your campus. And of course, the applications, what you have. And then of course also the new business modeling. And I will go a little bit deeper and show what are the elements. So the smart objects are the AGVs. And when you look in the future in new automation facilities, you will see when it built up on a greenfield, the whole is nearly empty. It's the same when you go here on the Hanover Fair ground, for example, in the Hall 9. I visited yesterday the Hall 9, and it was empty. And that is also the way in the future that we have an empty hall, and then it will be equipped step by step with different things. And things are automatic guided vehicles, robots, and things like that. But also, and that is very important, also people will working there. And therefore, this topic, what we had today, is also that safety not security. Safety is a very, very important topic. Safety is a very important topic. And that is also the goal when we talk about connectivity and flexible work, that safety is a must requirement. Without safety, you will get in trouble. And therefore, in the industrial IoT arena, we are also looking on the safety issue. Today we have safety solutions based on communication standards, on Profinet, but also in the future, that was also this morning a topic on OPC, the language, I would say the language of the industrial IoT, because it's open, very flexible, security mechanism included, and it's a layer 3 base, fits also perfect for 5G. So, and then the connectivity here you see a little bit with cable. Yes, that is a topic what is today, because in many, many use cases, it's better to use cable. Because when you look on problems what you can have with wireless technology, and in this CMM, we did a lot of communication wireless, and we saw that it might have some problems. And one problem is that issue latency. And that is a topic what is also very important in the future when we're talking about new connectivity standards in this wireless arena. Today you can make a lot of kinds of communication, LTE for example, owned by a provider or a private LTE network, but the latency is the problem. Many of them, they are saying, okay, we are working in the 10 milliseconds arena. Yes, that's right. But sometimes it took not 10 milliseconds, it took 160 or more. And in this case, if you have a safety application, it will not work. You have a shutdown, the complete factory or part of the factory. And if you produce very important goods, in the moment, medicine. We all know what is going on with the coronavirus and what we need for that. And if we are producing things to get rid of this coronavirus with medicine, then it's very important that you have reliable communication. Very, very important. So, and therefore connectivity is the key. And when we look in the future, there will be 5G. Why will it be 5G? I explained it a little bit in the whole 9, in the new concept of modern factories. They are empty, and the AGVs are coming in, and you cannot walk like here on the camera with cables. It will not work. Maybe it also changed for you behind the camera that you're also working wireless. Could be. So, and therefore it's very important that we're also looking on these new standards, that we fulfill this topic reliable, reliable, reliable. Otherwise, these new concepts will not work. And platforms, I already explained, different platforms, cloud-based or on-premise, data center also on-premise, automation data center. Automation data means with redundancy topics. Very, very important. Or virtualization, the PLC on a data center, or a 5G core on a data center. Also topics which will come in the future. And of course the application. Here we have an application on localization, where I can see where my goods are. And goods are not things, that could be also people. It could be also people. Also very important. And maybe I can open my suitcase and show what I'm meaning with that. That could be also people. That's also industrial, a little bit robust. What does it mean? Localization from people. Very, very important. If you go in hazard arenas, like in refineries or in mines, it's very important that you can localize where other people are. Very, very important. And this helmet, to be very open, it's from a partner. It cost $2,500. Wow. But that is not only a helmet, it's a communication helmet. It has LTE inside, it has ultra-wideband inside, and also industrial wireless LAN. And here you can, with this helmet, you can localize the people very exactly in a mine. And if there's something happened in the mine or in the refinery, the lights here in the helmet will guide you to the safe direction. To the safe direction. Here's a safe area. And this helmet will show me, here's a safe arena. Please go in this line and not in this line. And that is also connectivity, which is very, very important. And people, so here are not so many people, nearly 10. But all of you are important. And therefore is safety an important topic. Don't forget that. So, and when we look at this picture, the connectivity pictures, smart things, connectivity and platforms, that is digital connectivity. And this digital connectivity must be reliable. Reliable. And as I very often say, reliable. If this not works, you will lose money. Today, and sorry that I'm saying that, we had some problems with this platform yesterday, a little bit. It does not work correctly. In the industrial environment, it will cost you money. And therefore, the reliable is so important. So, and another topic also very important, when we talk about the industrial arena. In the industrial arena, this communication stuff must be made for blue-collar workers. They must handle it. They are not IT experts. That are blue-collar workers, with maybe with different knowledge. And when they run a shift in the pharma industry 24/7, it must work 24/7. Otherwise, if it not works, maybe for a few milliseconds, then you have produced waste. And so it is very important that the new communication technologies are made also for the blue-collar workers. They run the factory all day and all night, and that is very important. And all of you know, data is the new oil. Data analytics and things like that. Edge computing to generate data. To generate data, to be aware that there could be a problem in the future, and you know it in front, and you can do some maintenance work. So this data is really the new oil, what we will have in the future. And data is also money. Data from the company, what you generate, is money. Maybe there's some IPs what you have, as also money. And therefore, it's very important that you can handle this in a safe way, in a reliable way. So now come to new business models. Reliable. Reliable. I very often said that. You can sell this. You can sell this to a customer, say, I give you a network with 99 or 69, what we're always saying, reliability. And you can get money for that. That is also very important. To get money for a reliable network. Now I'm talking again to my colleagues over there from the studio. A reliable platform is also money. If you can say to the CMM next time, and hopefully we do it not virtual, I like you, but hopefully we can do it in real. But when you can say, I have a platform, it works 69, then you are great. And you can offer them to the customer and you say, but you must pay for it. That is also a thing. If you have good things or unique selling points, it is allowed, and we're also doing that from Siemens, that we choose money for that. If at the end of the day, the customer has a benefit, And when a customer has a benefit, there's also a willingness to pay. That is also very, very important. Oh, abgemeldet. Is it for me here, standing? Abgemeldet, Sie wurden abgemeldet? No. Sorry for that. But I can go ahead. I have the slides in mind. So sailing availability was one topic. And the other thing was also a topic in these days, 3D printing. 3D printing, printing on demand if you need new, let me say, accessories or things which are broken. You can print it. Today, it's a normal process to print also metal for different parts, spare parts or things like that. And that also in industrial scale. That is possible today. And maybe in the future we will also print, and I think that is, if you have, let me say, in 30 years, for me 30 years is okay, have a next pandemic. Maybe you can print your food. Maybe you can print your food. Some companies are also working on this. I'm not kidding. There's also something new. And when you're sitting at home in your home office, you print your own pizza. Now you're a little bit laughing, but remember me, and I hope, to be very open, I hope that we never get a pandemic like this. And the other thing is also pay per use. When you rent the machinery from an OEM, say, I will only pay when I use this. In a big factory where you have big machines and they are not running the whole day, a painting shop, for example, you pay per use. So 100 cars a day or 200 cars a day. That is also a new business model. And that needs also connectivity, reliable connectivity. And of course, this customer, this OEM, will produce data. So data, the new oil. So, and when we look at the heart of automation or industrial IoT, very, very important is when you look on the new technology and you go with this new technology in new applications. Check with proof of concept or with testing in different arenas that this new communication is reliable. Christina, maybe you can count how often I said reliable. So reliable is the key of industrial IoT. So, and also, when you go on new technology, maybe you can say, okay, I will wait. Maybe this technology is not stable. But this is also the different approach. Maybe you can work in first proof of concept with institutes or companies like Siemens or whatever, or Ericsson or Nokia or what else on the 5G topic, and to get knowledge on this new technology. And also you can say, oh, there's missing something. We need this feature to fulfill our requirements. And what do you think? Which requirement our customers have on 5G? A reliable network with safety functionality. Can we have it today with our 5G? Is on our iPhone, the new iPhone with 5G, is there this emergency button? No. But that is necessary in industry. When you go wireless, if it's industrial wireless LAN or 5G, you need it. Today you can buy it, but it's based on industrial wireless LAN. Also industrial. So, next slide. And when we're talking about wireless technology, yes, 5G in the moment, it's a hype. Everybody is talking on 5G. In this conference, 5G was also a hot topic. But don't forget, we also have other technologies which are already in the field. Industrial wireless LAN. And I'm very proud that I can say that. And Germany is here ahead. In Germany, we created the first, for 15 years, the first industrial wireless LAN with safety functionality. There's no other company around who has this technology. And also the automotive companies around the world. And around the world, that means also the Japanese car manufacturers. They're using our technology. because they found nothing better on the market. So in the same way, we will go for 5G, because that's the must requirement. Today, the customers have industrial wireless LAN with safety, and of course they expect from us also to have 5G with industrial wireless LAN. And that is a very good migration part. When you make your application based on OPC, what was today explained from VNR, then you can change very easy the motor from industrial wireless LAN to 5G. We can show that to you in our automotive center, and it really works. And then another topic, what is very often said, when can we start with 5G in the industry? I always say start now. You can start now, really, with remote application, but not so for safety application. Therefore, we need to release 16. And many say, oh, the release 16 is available when we get the products. So now I'm telling you the story what release 15 and when we have the first products. Release 15 was December 2018. And now at Christmas time, we have the first, let me say, broader portfolio of 5G smartphones. So it took 2 years to bring this paperwork into chip technology. And that is the same what we will have with release 16 or 17. And we are very proud, and it comes from the heart, that we are developing this technology made in Germany. Made in Germany. And for us, from my company, and we have the full stack in our own hands. Why I'm saying this? If the standard fulfills not the requirements, for example, the safety topic, we did it for industrial wireless LAN, and then we will do it in the same way for 5G, because that is a customer requirement with willingness to pay, and we will do that. And the other topic is, of course, if you have technology made in Germany, it's also good for Germany, to be very open. The government opens the way for digitalization with their own campus frequency, and that is something great. And also what is done here in this area, the biggest 5G test network will be on this fairground. In Germany, also very important. And then when you're looking on the 5G topic, which deployments you will use, it's different what you can use. You can use a public deployment, semi-public, and local private deployment. And I will tell you this kind on a story. Christina, I'm allowed to tell it on a story? Yes, you're allowed. Yeah, I'm allowed. Yeah, I must ask, because this story plays in a pub. It plays in a pub or in a bar. So, local private deployment, that's your own network. And now I compare it with a bar or with a pub. You are sitting in this bar and drink some drinks, or maybe some more. And the only guy who knows it is the barkeeper and you. But this barkeeper has an NDA, he will not tell it if the wife calls. So if you have a semi-public deployment, you're also sitting in the bar and drinking beer or something else. But with a semi-public deployment, you have a provider. And this provider knows exactly in which bar you are sitting. And maybe it's your wife. She knows exactly in which bar you are drinking. The only thing she does not know, how many drinks you have. And if you go in a public deployment, your wife knows everything. You are sitting in the bar and you have so much drinks. That is privacy also on data. Where should the data go? And if you have very, very important oil data, then you have to think on which deployment I will go. On a public deployment or on a private deployment. And I can tell you in the moment, all the automotive companies, they are going on a private deployment, because they will keep their data. How many beers or cars they produce, that is their own knowledge and not for the wife, not for the others. So and that is very important to know what will be happening with the data. And also when you look, what was the word where I told you to count it? Reliability. Reliability. When you look at the public deployment, in the last week, we had a breakdown from a provider. Public deployment. If you have a factory, automotive factory, with a public deployment, what will be happened? You will produce no cars, or it will go much, much slower. And at the end of the day, you cannot produce anymore. And therefore, you must be very clear which decision do you take on the deployment. Public, semi, or local private. And for local private, the German government opens the door with this frequency, 3.7 to 3.8, also very important. And the license costs are very, very cheap. We are talking not on the 6 billion euro, what Telecom, Vodafone, and the other twos pay for that. That are thousands of euros, not more. And for the farming, it's cheaper. Also, farming is a vertical where this 5G topic will be in the future play an important role. So when you look at these private 5G components, that is not a big thing. They look like access points, what you have today, or the routers are a little bit bigger than, maybe I have a router with me. Yeah, I have a router with me. So that is, that's an iPhone for industry. But you cannot communicate with voice, but for video and other things. And, very, very important, for remote service. But now you can say, okay, not everywhere is 5G deployed. Yes, that's right, but this component works also with 3G and with 4G. So that means you can start now with this new technology. So, that are the products, and very, very important, the blue-collar workers. I think in this morning I explained it a little bit. Reliability is very important. To change this device, you need no programmer, no iPad, nothing. The only thing is in this device is also this plug. The only thing you do is remove this plug, put it in another plug, put it in another device, in a new device, and it works in the same way as before. You do not call the hotline. That is also products made for blue-collar workers. Also very, very important, because if you have a shift time that every two and a half minutes a car comes out, and you need, for example, half an hour, you can count how many cars are not produced. There are lost cars. And lost cars, it's money, what you are lost. And therefore, this topic is so important. And now the commercial block at the end of my presentation. And it's a favorite for me to do that in this way. The Deutsche Messe will build the biggest 5G test center in the world. The biggest one. So that means for all others, they are like to try to work with 5G. They can do it here in Germany. Nobody else has in the moment plans like we have here with the Deutsche Messe AG. There's also a big, big benefit. And also the benefit is you can work with Nokia, with Ericsson, with Telecom, with Vodafone. And also the farming industry can come here, Klaas or Fendt or whatever, because you have a big outdoor environment. That is also very important. And that is for me very important to say, you can start now, you have not to wait. So, and that is for me the best thing what we have here in Germany. In no other area we have this. In Aachen, it's more a closed network based on Ericsson. That is okay. But here you can have different vendors. And you can test. And also, I can tell you now, it's not a secret anymore, Siemens will also be in this smart venue next year, and hopefully the Hanover Fair next year will be in in real life, not as a digital twin or whatever. And then we will bring also a 5G network to the fairground here. And yes, it will be included in the smart venue. And then you can test with Siemens equipment. But if you have a requirement to test with Ericsson or Nokia, then you can do it also here. When you look at the big holes what we have here on the fairground, I'm saying what we have here on the fairground, what the Deutsche Messe has on the fairground, you can run many AGVs. When you look in hole 9 could be also a new fabric to produce e-cars. It's big enough to bring the AGVs and the warehouses. And that is Hanover. That is the Deutsche Messe. And that is also, for me, an important takeaway when you look on connectivity. Start and don't wait. Thank you. Christina, how often I said reliable?
Much, too much for me. I can count till 3 and then after it's stopped. So thank you very much for this really powerful and wonderful presentation here in real life. It's come from the heart, yes, for sure. What I learned this day from you is 2 things. Never go to the pub, because if I go to the pub, my husband will count it. What
if you go on a public network, yes.
If I go to a public
network, he will not know it.
But never go to a private network if you go to a pub, or?
But it depends. It depends, Christina. It depends.
So, and what I also learned is it must work. And I think this is a wonderful thing you said, because I think you said it with Corona. We learned a lot about digital. We learned a lot about it has to work. It has really to work. How many presentations I had in the last months. Stefan, do you hear me? Hey, Christina, do you see me? Hey, your presentation is working. It's horrible, huh? And if we think money and time, and it has to work, we have to do a lot of work and a lot of research.
Yes.
And what I really have to say, after 1.5 days only presentation and moderation of presentations in the digital life, I'm so proud, so glad to have you here with your case. And I'm looking inside what is ever inside.
Oh, there are many
perhaps
things,
you can say
inside.
after.
But there's no liquid cheesecake in.
Oh, yes.
What was the internal joke?
Yeah, it's an internal, it's very, very sweet, I have heard, and very nice, I have heard, and I'm so, yes, I'm sorry. Not with me. So, you will be in the studio till the end, so we can have a discussion. And now I'm very glad to have Mr. Juchem here in the studio.
Virtually.
Do you hear me as well?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Very perfect. Thank you very much for being here. Hopefully the next year we meet again, but in this year you are here in the digital way. And I think I forgot one thing to say. We have normally we planned with 3 speakers in this session, so we have only 2 speakers now because of Mr. Franchi from the TU in Dresden has not the possibility to come to us, also not in the digital way. So we have a time to listen your presentation a little bit longer if you like to, and hopefully your presentation is working, and who you are, what you are doing, I think you can tell it more and better as I can. So the stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, can you hear me? No, what a great presentation by the gentleman from Siemens. A lot of topics he touched upon, which I also will dwell on. I think one of the biggest takeaways definitely is start now, don't wait. I think that was a great one. Thank you very much. Yes, so I'll be speaking about connectivity standards and how to keep things simple. I think with all the also the pyramid that was just shown, there's a lot of complexity out there, and it doesn't have to be. And we, as a connectivity provider that is purely looking at the IoT, definitely want to kind of share our thoughts and our observation of the last couple of years with regard to connectivity and connecting the objects to the platforms, as already previously discussed. So let me just do a quick introduction. My name is Kim Jochem. I'm the co-founder and operating officer of a company called Once. Yes, it's actually spelled Once. Or pronounced Once. I'm a mobile guy, so not an IoT industrial person, but more like the connectivity, 2G, 3G, 4G, and the IoT kind of person, and taking care in Once everything that is not technology and not sales. So all the stuff that's not that. Super happy to be back this year. We have been at the CMM last year when it was still called 5G CMM. I think it's kind of wise to drop the 5G and just have it called CMM because it's more than just 5G, and there's 2G, 3G, NB-IoT, LTM out there. A lot of good things to dwell on already today. A lot of customers, and maybe I'm preaching to the choir here a bit, but it's really one of the biggest questions that we always get is, how do you start? It's so complex, we don't get it, and there's platforms, which platforms to use, what do I do once I have the data in the platform? How do I get the data into the platform, and so on? And really, at the end of the day, and the gentleman speaking before me really made it very clear with this very nice pyramid. For me, it's more like a chain, but we always have the challenge of, you have a physical representation of something. And you need to create the digital representation of that thing as well. So basically creating the digital twin of whatever it is that you're measuring. And it can be any kind of object, any type of machine, any type of street lamp, you name it, it can be a car. That data needs to be, or that object needs to be connected to sensors in order to take meaningful data out of this object, transferred securely and reliability, so there's the reliability word again, into a platform. And that's the same for all IoT use cases out there. So that's not really a big one. But what to choose and when to choose what is, I think, one of the biggest problems or challenges that our customers face. And at the end of the day, it's all about standards. And if you take one thing out of this presentation, I think you took reliability and start now from the gentleman before me. But if you take anything out of this presentation, is go with standards. And when I say standards, we look at hardware components. And hardware, we have OBD dongles for cars. We have industrial sensors. We have multi-sensor units where you can plug in multiple sensors. And then you need to transport these sensor data into a cloud environment or into a backend. And also, when you transport, use what's there. As the gentleman before me from Siemens said, 5G is great, but think about, maybe you can do something with 2G, 3G, 4G. You can do something with NB-IoT. You can do something with LTEM. Don't wait. Most of the devices can be equipped with a standard SIM card slot and a standard SIM module. You plug it in. Of course, it's not like mobile connectivity is not for everybody, as already previously said, but they're like 95% of the IoT outside of the industrial IoT, but the IoT use cases out there can be very easily be connected via mobile connectivity. And once you have taken the decision on what to and how to transport, then of course, once the data is in your connectivity platform, that needs to go into your software platform or in your cloud-based platform. And here we also advise our customers to look for standards on these interfaces between equipment to communication to platform, and we always say, like, look at the REST APIs, look at the APIs. Are there libraries available? Is there adequate documentation for your developers to make sure that the data is being able to be processed in your final platform, where you then have all your business rules and actually do the decision making on that sensor data that you collected in the field. So one thing to remember, standards. But it's all, it's fun and games if I talk about standards. What I really want to kind of show you what's out there already, because also for most customers of ours, it's really, and even for us who work in this industry every day, it's mind-boggling what is out there already. And of course, we have agricultural, we have factory, we have city, home, logistics, telemetry, a lot of IoT use cases out there. And therefore, I think also the providers cannot grasp and understand what will be developed in half a year from a use case point of view. We just need to provide tooling, the right tooling for people much brighter than we to define new solutions in the Internet of Things. So let me share a use case with you. Company that works with us called TARGA Telematics. It's a really one of the largest providers of mobility software platforms in the insurance and telemetry space. What they've done is they've created a box that you can put into an object, a car, and a backend where you can record all of that for their own use mainly. So what they do is usage-based insurance, for example, where they offer a service to an insurance that if a customer puts a device into their car, they can, of course, see if there's anything, how is the driving behavior, so how often does the person drive, what is the acceleration and brake behavior of that person. But also once you have that connection into the physical representation of the car, you can, of course, also do crash management, right? So you recognize that there was a crash or there was a 1.5G impact on the object. You can basically take that information and call the customer and say, is everything all right? Also, if you know that your object, the vehicle has been hit by 0.5 G from the rear, and it's a Golf 3 built in 1996 probably, you probably don't need to send the DEKRA or TÜV guy out to check the car because you know it's been totaled. I don't know if this is already done, but these are all things that you can think of at a second stage once you have those data collected. And for the customer, it really benefits because, first of all, the device can be put somewhere into the car. It doesn't need to be on the dashboard, where I think especially we Germans like our cars nice and tidy, and we don't want to have dongles sticking on the windshield or in the dashboard, but you can put it somewhere, just needs a power outlet, and then you can basically lower your yearly rate on your insurance if you provide that data to the insurance. And TARGA Telematics is doing that, which is great. A second case, which is in the area of renewable energy, which I think is a huge topic and just prone for Internet of Things connectivity. A customer of ours called ABO WIND. It's a German-based project bureau that deploys wind park or manage those. And one of the things that I've realized is that once you have a wind park, you have a lot of people going in and out of this facility. And it's not a facility like where you have a fence around it, but it's basically a lot of poles and engineers, service people need to access those wind turbines. With the product ABO Lock, it's actually a ring similar to the home environment, where you have a digital key that you can unlock with your phone via Wi-Fi, for example. Here we have a cellular-based 2G, 3G, 4G solution where an engineer can go to the wind power generating unit and unlock a door to get in. And the system, of course, unlocks the door if you put in the right code. And the system also tracks who, with what code, entered the object, how long the person was in the object, and when the person left the object. Therefore, you can also, with different codes, you can really manage your access management. And for the wind park, I think it becomes clear that a cable-based solution is probably not the most efficient one. And therefore, ABO Wind has used our multi-operator card for their solution, where we provide multi-operator connectivity 2G, 3G, 4G across a variety of territories in Europe, Asia, and North America. Next one up is, I think I really love this case, especially within this current pandemic. Company from Italy called Micro Defender. What they do is they have a little box that is shown on the picture, and really this box is filled with disinfectant, and the box is placed into a room, and then this device brings out disinfection aerosol to disinfect the room, and records the volume of the room, of course, how much disinfectant it brought into the room, and then records this on a back end, and then the company creates a certificate, which is then handed to the property owner. This property owner could be a hotel, it could be a hospital, cruise ships, you name it. In this way, you can actually have a certificate before the new guest or the new patient is placed into a new room that this room has been disinfected, and you don't need to rely on somebody filling out sheets of paper, but it's basically in the back end with a certificate that can also be shared across boundaries. So the hotel can use this and share this with the guest and say, well, this room has been disinfected 4 hours ago or a day ago, and it wasn't occupied ever since. So that is really a great use case of ours. Also here, again, we have device sensor data being transported through cellular connectivity into a platform for further processing of the data that has been collected. I just brought 3 use cases this time because I wanted to really share one of the use cases that actually has been born at the CMM last year with our good friends from Uberge, Lufthansa Industry Solutions, and G&D, which also relies on standards, but it's a kind of a different set of standards. And if you have companies that are really willing to embark on those standards, you can really do a lot of great things in a very short time. So as I said, a year ago, Uberge, the IoT blockchain provider, G&D, the SIM card manufacturer, and once met up outside of the lobby and said, okay, how can we work together in order to create a blockchain on a SIM solution, which is a plug-and-play solution, which also offers connectivity to a broad audience. And we've basically sat together and created this fully integrated blockchain solution on a SIM card in a highly standardized form factor, which is a standard SIM card, which can be plugged into any device. The device knows how to work with a SIM card. It's totally scalable for IoT and for a large number of transactions. That's the benefit of the Uberge solution. But what we are happy as once, especially in joining forces with G&D, is that we took the applet of Uberge, we placed it on the SIM chip of G&D, which, of course, the SIM chip can do more than just a normal SIM card, but it works just like a normal SIM card. And then we added our standard global flat rate connectivity to this, and basically made this available to the masses. So if you have a blockchain need and you want your data be stored in a public blockchain, your IoT data being stored in a public blockchain, and usually that is done if data is shared across boundaries. So for example, if you have the micro certificate guys with Micro Defender guys with the aerosols, disinfectant, and you want to share this with Marriott hotels, for example, then they can basically blockchain that certificate, and Marriott can see that this certificate has not been tampered with. So that is great, really plug and play, easy to use, IoT focused. And actually, we launched this product already in spring at around the Mobile World Congress, which hasn't happened because of Corona. But it has been recognized by the IoT industry because we just won the IoT Global Awards for Best Ecosystem of the Year for the use case together with Lufthansa Industry Solution, Once Connectivity, the SIM card of G&D, and the UBridge client together with a SLOC device. And this use case is really super interesting because Lufthansa Industry Solution is providing air cargo devices, like thin aluminum devices for customers, and they have a tendency to be damaged in the course of the transport. So you fly a container from Frankfurt, let's say, to Sydney. The container is at the Sydney airfield, is refilled and sent back to Frankfurt. And in Frankfurt, somebody realized, okay, there's a big hole in this very thin aluminum container. And then somebody calls the airport Sydney and says, hey, my container is broken, I need to repair it. And those thin aluminum containers are quite costly to repair. And then the Sydney airport says, I don't know, it wasn't me, must have happened during air transport. Well, with this device, you basically put a device into the container and it recognizes any sort of external force being applied to the container. And with that, then that is recorded, it's signed by the blockchain technology on the SIM card and then is transported through a cellular network to the back end of Lufthansa Industry Solution. And they can inform their customers that, like, your container in Sydney Airport has just received a 0.2 G hit. And that's probably the reason why it has a hole now, because somebody ran into it with a forklift. Really, very simple if you think of it, but very complex because you need so many partners to work together in order to make this happen. And here again, if it's standards, it's a standard SIM card, it's a standard SIM interface, it's standard cellular connectivity, it's standard roaming, it's a standard aluminum box, but then there's a few things added with REST API and communication between those parties, and then you create a very, very meaningful solution which benefits not only the customer, because the customer can claim damages from Sydney Airport for the damaged device, and it just makes so much more sense. So that is a use case I'm particularly proud because it was born at CMM. Last slide here, and if you have any question, just throw them at me in the chat. We also thought, now that was more like a customer use case, but what kind of tools do customers need in order to use the great connectivity, standardized cellular connectivity that we have to create their solutions? Because honestly speaking, an operator like we're great at running a network, at providing connectivity, but we're not, the greatest in imagining new use cases. But what we're good at is providing the tools, the standardized tools for our customers to dwell on this and create those solutions. And we've teamed up with AWS, like so many other companies, and our complete core network is run on hyperscaler technology, fully virtualized. So we're a little bit more prone to work with these kind of guys than your traditional operator. We created what we call the IoT connectivity suite, which allows our customers that are actually also AWS IoT customers to capitalize on the connectivity that we have for device onboarding. So we provide for every customer that is an AWS customer and a Once customer, you can just marry the two accounts via your AWS IoT console, and then we interact and we share data with your AWS account on your SIMs that you have with us via standard API interfaces, and we create unique identifiers. So if your device comes up, we use the SIM card as a standardized authentication tool and basically tell your backend that your device has just come up in the network, and we tell you in which country the device is, which EMI it has, so you can automatically and seamless onboard your device onto your platform. If you're in a POC, proof of concept type of environment, that's probably not that important for you. But if you deploy, 2,000 devices a day, that's a lot of new device onboarding happening to your platform. And this is like a very nice tool how we can use standardized things in the telco world and forward these identifiers into the hyperscaler environment for your benefit. We also have a data management tool for our customers that actually helps you to translate some of the UDP or CoAP data into data that can be easier be processed by platforms into a secure AWS language. And then we have auto provisioning tools, as I already said, like the device onboarding is one of these, but we also provide documentation on SDKs and rules engine where you have nice pick and drop libraries that you can use on the AWS environment that nicely ties into the connectivity that we provide. And here again, there are so many things on the platform side that are currently being standardized, which are not yet standardized on the device side. And by bridging, using the operator and the SIM card environment to bridge this gap and make this seamless, I think that's what we are at once are all about. Good. So main takeaways from this short presentation. I hope you're still awake. Unfortunately, I don't have any interaction with you guys, so I don't know where you are. But one of the important learnings for us is don't do everything in-house. There are so many great ideas and great tools out there. Capitalize on your partners across the value chain or the pyramid, however you want to call it, and use those things that are there. Probably somebody has thought about the thing or your challenge already, and there's something out there that you can use. Rely on standards as much as possible. Don't go proprietary because you will be stuck as soon as you're out of your proof of concept phase. Try to work with standards, work with the established platforms, use 2G, 3G, 4G as long as 5G is not widely available. Use 3G, 4G as long as NB-IoT is not widely available, and kind of make sure that you use standards in order to be future-proof. And then, of course, look at scale. As said in my last example, if you're just deploying 50 objects a month, then total cost of ownership and scale is not something that you probably look at. But we're all in the IoT game because we believe in the scale, and therefore, when scaling, think of total cost of ownership when deploying, and therefore, again, look at standards and what's there in order to keep your cost low. And with that, thank you for having me. Thank you for your attention. I'm looking forward for questions if there are any.
So, thank you very much. From Hannover, can we see you? Yes, we see you.
I can see you.
Perfect, yes. So I can give you also a heart, okay?
Thank you.
A digital heart. Next time, hopefully, a real heart. So, questions. Do we have any questions from Slido? I don't see. No, we don't have any questions from Slido. So I have to be a little bit confused because I thought that a lot of people out of this studio are now writing and have a lot of questions to Ewald. I can say Ewald. Or Mr. Jochen? No?
You can say Kim as well.
Kim?
No worries.
So Christina. So for the next time, don't forget. So, no questions anymore. So I have one question. First to you, thank you very much. And thank you also very much for your examples. And what I learned also is privacy in cars is also a little bit tricky because if a car knows if I have an accident or not, the car also knows where I am. So also my husband knows I'm in a car and where I'm in the car. He knows in the pub or where in the pub and how many beers. But I think also we have connected mobility, connected machines. We see here a lot of machines in the back end. We see ships, we see drones, we see all of this. Do you think that with the pandemic we have in the moment, the question is to you both, do we get a kick in Germany to learn more about digitalization, to learn more about connecting machines, to learn more about new ways to earn money? Perhaps first to you, because you are in the World Wide Web in the moment.
Yeah, not only in the World Wide Web, but we also sell to customers worldwide. And what we can see is that, of course, we had a little, demand dip in late March, early April, where everybody was like kind of, okay, what's going on? And we had the general shutdown in wave 1. But what we have realized is that especially the Asian markets, but also the Southern European markets have recovered much quicker and with much more force compared to Germany. We've seen a huge demand, I think, driven by the need for digitization in those areas, because those who have been hit hardest then woke up and said, okay, we need to change something and we need to change quickly. So we haven't seen an increase in deployments of connected mobile devices in the IoT field ever since. I think we had record-breaking months ever since the lockdown 1 ended, and it continued through lockdown 2. For Germany, especially, I must say, there's a little reluctance on investment. That's obvious. I think, as also Ewald from Siemens said, reliability is very, very important, and I think the need to digitize is not as eminent as in other countries, because we are going through the pandemic quite not as hard as others. But I think the Digitalgipfel, which has just happened last 2 days, I think was very clear that there's also in Germany a huge push for digitization. I'm with Ewald and Siemens. Start now, don't wait until your optimal solution is there. There are already great solutions where you can start with 4G and then move into 5G as soon as this becomes available. Of course, if you need edge computing, or if you need like real-time data, then cellular connectivity is maybe not the right thing right now. But don't wait. Start deploying. You learn so much in that process that you be able to really scale as soon as then the technology that you really need is there. My take.
So thank you very much. And what I see now on the prompter is that we have a question for Kim.
Okay.
What kind of standards do you see on the hardware side? What equipment standards are there fulfilling industrial requirements?
Well, on standards, there are so many. So there's first of all, are we talking standards in SIM cards? Are we talking standards in connectivity modules? Are we talking standards in sensors? So that's not quite sure where you want to get at. But as we are a mobile connectivity standards, what we see in the module space and also in the SIM form factor space is we see most of our customers that actually scale up are going for embedded SIM chips. So like the little sortable devices in an industrial grade. So reliability is one of the things that we see happening. Most we see customers shy away from standard plastic SIM cards more and more, especially as systems scale up. And on the module side, to be honest, most of our customers are still deploying 2G, 3G, 4G modules. Those that deploy narrowband technologies typically go for NB-IoT or LTM with fallback. So NB-IoT with 2G fallback is something that we see a lot as a connectivity standard. Of course, a price of hardware is always a big topic. We have a long discussion with customers that don't want to go multi-mode because they say, I just want this technology. But just think about how long your device will be in the market. Our typical average device is somewhere between 7 to 10 years. Who knows what happens in 10 years and how 2G networks are retired, 3G networks are retired. So our push is always go as broad as you can and as broad as your budget allows, because you don't want to go out and change connectivity modules on devices in 4 or 5 years because 2G has been postponed, for example, or has been shut down.
Kim, can I add something?
Sure.
I think very important is when we look on the 5G technology, that the 5G technology is also designed for industry grade. When you compare it with 3G and maybe 4G, the focus was not so on industry. And now the technology goes also in vehicles. That means in car and harvesters and things like that. And that is also very important because in this use cases, I have the same requirements what I have in industry. Temperature range, minus to plus, vibrations, and also the long lifetime. And that is also very important that also the chip manufacturers recognize that. Also with TSN, time-sensitive network, goes also in the car and also in the automation arena, that we have now standards on chipsets which are not special, which are made for a broad industry. And that is good for us and, of course, also good for the customers. Because if you take a standard, maybe on one chip platform, it will work together. But also what I said this morning, it's also necessary to have at the end of the day, a certification for a product that it will fit together. That is something what the automotive industry needs. They say, we will not only buy from Siemens. I like when they buy from Siemens, but there are also others, Phoenix, Weidmuller, and so on. And that is also the openness, not only the openness on the, let me say, on OPC, also that you have different possibilities for your best use case.
Perfect. And my first question to you, the kick for Germany from the pandemic for digitalization, or do you think we have no kick now?
I think, yes, of course, we had a kick. I think the new way of working, home office and so on. In the past, it was very, let me say, a long way to get new, let me say, functions, Teams or Zooms. And now it was very easy that the IT department said, yes, we need it, and it's there. And that is, I would say, what we can learn. And sorry to say that we need, therefore, the pandemic, to be much, much quicker. If it's really hard work, then you have to do it. And we did it, I think we did it very well in Germany, I would say over the world, to live with this new, let me say, also way of communication. I like this way of communication and not, sorry Kim, not virtual. But I think we learned very, very good. And also when I look in industry, remote services, what I said, that was booming up. That was really booming up with our remote service platform. It was great. Sorry that the reason was the pandemic. But now it's usually I say, yes, I can work in India and I'm sitting here in Hanover and I'm working in India. That is fine. And it works.
Yes, and
that is connectivity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah. This is right. And I think also one other thing is I like to see you here. I like to see you there, wherever, but we can decide what we do in the future.
Yeah.
Because in former times I had to work about 2 hours for a meeting for 1 hour. I think we can stay at home or we can stay in our office. We have video meetings. I think a lot of people learned how video meetings are functional. Also the governments, we have to say. Also governments now know how to do it. We have another question now, I think. A follow-up question. NB IoT is designed for a run on battery for years. However, in reality, do you see many developments where the field device is running on battery? Or at the end of the day, there's a power connection in 95% of the time? I think the question is also to Kim. Yeah? Okay.
I guess so. To be honest, we see a lot of battery-powered use cases, especially also, there's some backup-powered battery, and then you add, for example, a car device for a car. That's battery powered if the car is not on, but if it's on, it takes the power from the car. Pure battery powered we see as well, especially in NB IoT, LTM. But honestly, if we scale this up across multiple territories, then I think what we see is the lack of the industry to have agreed on a broader roaming regime on the narrowband IoT and LTM technologies. I think that is coming now. Give us another 2 years, and I think it will be widely available. But on NB IoT, we see a lot of battery-powered cases. We don't see the 10 years or the 5 years of one battery. It's more like 1 year to 1.5 years, because most of the NB IoT providers also use cellular backup, 2G backup, fallback, for example, and therefore you don't manage that. But a lot of devices just go to sleep, right? They don't broadcast every day on NB IoT, but they only wake up if there's a certain event. Either it's woken up from outside by an event, and then they power up. So and then of course battery connected devices still work. So all in all, but I would say also given the breadth of the rollout of NB IoT networks across the world, so like probably 10%, 15% of our use cases are battery powered.
Thank you for the answering. I hope the answer is okay. I don't have any chance to ask the asker directly. So if you have another question, please use Slido. If not, I think it would be a good idea to give you a last chance to say, how do you think do we live and work in about 20, 30 years, the future of 5G, the future of digitalization, the future of communication? A short answer?
I think in 30 years we will live on Mars, and we need industrial communication, because when you go on Mars the first time, the communication and the reliability. How often I did say that?
3 times.
Three
I
times.
Can't count more as 3.
Reliability is also important, and I'm not joking. Also, the ESA asked us, what can we do if we go far away on the communication side? Do we need special protocols? So in some cases we see what earned we from the space program, the Teflon. So, and what can we bring in? It's reliable communication. You need it when you go far away. Mm. And Musk has this vision: in 2 or 3 years, he will go to Mars. Maybe not with people, but I think in 30 years we will go to Mars, I personally think. And we need industrial communication. Maybe it's 10G and not 5G, but the core behind that is reliability. And based on standards.
Third time. Thank you. Kim, what do you think?
Yeah, Ewald, I like the standards thing. Thank you for that. No, I just kind of wrote it down. I think we will be then at least 8G networks at that in 30 years. Probably we would talk about the shutdown of 5G and 6G already, because we need the spectrum to harvest. Overall, I think on connectivity or on connected devices, everything will be connected. I think every object in your house, in your office, in your car, your bicycle, your children's toys, your lawnmower, everything will be connected and have a sort of connectivity, even if that's a Zigbee, Bluetooth with a gateway, or Wi-Fi or cellular. I think it will be self-organizing networks, so that you don't need to send a blue-collar worker out to put in a username password into a street lamp if you deploy 20,000 street lamps in the city. So everything will be connected. And I'm very much looking forward, but I also seen the rate of innovation that we currently see. I think I personally am not intelligent enough to grasp the fundamental changes that this will have to society and how we work. But it will be, you see it now with the pandemic. Even elementary school kids now have video conferencing systems, which half a year ago that would have been impossible. It's happening, and with that rate of innovation, I think we're up for a ride.
Christina, maybe when we talk about the vision from the Deutsche Messe, maybe we can say today we have the biggest 5G test center in Hanover, and maybe Thomas Rück is saying in 30 years, I have the biggest test center for 10G or 9G or whatever on Mars. That could be also possible. And I'm not joking. I think Elon Musk, in some cases, he is a little bit crazy. But what he promised, he did sometimes a little bit with a delay. But now he got the award also to think a little bit ahead. And yes, what he did, it was successful. And I'm really open. I think it is possible for us, human, to go to Mars in 30 years.
So hopefully we all will be with you on Mars in 30 years. So
have a big
thank
party,
you.
yeah? Okay, I
a
like
big
that.
party with a lot of Käsekuchen.
Yeah.
So Kim, thank you for your statement.
Thomas
Ewald,
is
thank
going
you.
outside. I think he's preparing this idea to have the biggest test center on Mars.
So shall he come to us to say what he is doing? No.
No.
So.
I do the advertisement for the 10G on Mars, Thomas.
So on the other hand, we can give him a hat to be always known where he is, huh?
Yes.
for both of us. So, okay, thank you very much, Kim. Thank you very much, Ewald. Thank you very much to the Deutsche Messe. Thank you for the team, for this very, very good presentation in the internet and also here in Hanover. Thank you for the Deutsche Messe, for the Connected Mobile Machines and Mobility, CMM, for this year 2020, and hopefully in the next year 2021 we will be here in Hanover and we will have a chance to give us the hands and say hello together. And so thank you very much for you at the TV, at the PC, wherever you are, and have a nice day and welcome to the next year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.